Do you name your motorbikes? Because I do, and I thought it was quite normal. But when you tell people that you name your bike, sometimes they give you a little bit of a funny look. Now, Rafiki here, he's been called Rafiki since before I'd finished loading him into the back of my 807. In fact, he's been called Rafiki a lot longer. I'd reached a point where I'd decided that my first motorbike was going to be called Rafiki. And then there's Laren. Laren, I got Laren and then named her. I worked on that bike for about 3 months after buying the bike and before getting an MOT. And it was somewhere during those 3 months that I decided to call her Laren. Probably about a week in, actually. Look at these potholes. Just changing the subject, but I told someone recently that I no longer ride this road because it's become absolutely littered with potholes. Anyone who is my age or thereabouts, or maybe slightly younger, may remember the little handheld video games that we used to play that had really tinny sound to them, and you were driving a car, flying a spaceship, and the aim of the game was to dodge the crap that came onto the screen. My parents didn't know why I played those games. Little did we know, it was setting me up for the potholes of the future. And I was really good at them games. I clocked every single one of them. So I have no doubt that I can win on this road. But really, I should stop riding this road. Back to naming vehicles then. I find that people, they kind of accept the fact that you name your bike a little bit. It's when you tell them what you've named the bike sometimes that you get the funny looks. So maybe it's not the fact that I've named my bikes, but it's the odd names that I give them. I do find that when you tell them that you've named your car Lexi, you almost always get a funny look. Seems to be something somewhat accepting of naming motorbikes, but not of naming cars. And I never did name the 306. In fact, I never did name the 807. The 306, don't get me wrong, I've called it several things. In the 2.5 years that I've had that car, I've called it every name under the sun for various reasons, normally because it's broken down yet again, so it gets another negative name. But nothing ever stuck. It just gets called the 306. Lexi's called Lexi for a reason, Rafiki's called you know, all my vehicles, they've got their name for a reason. But yes, that was their attempt at fixing a pothole. Anyway, yeah, I do sometimes give my vehicles names that you might consider a little bit odd. Some people give their bikes very sensible names. If you've got a black motorbike, for example, and you call it Midnight, yeah, sensible, makes sense. Probably a lot less likely to get funny looks on that one. But lately, it's been a couple of things. There's a couple of things lately that have made me think about naming bikes and is it normal and why do we name them? A couple of weeks back when the 5 of us went out to Tavistock and we had all the bikes lined up, we had Gadget, nice, simple name. Then we had the Triumph Bonneville that doesn't have a name. And then we have the next bike, the Honda Hornet. The Honda Hornet. I'm getting good at this. Yes, we have the Honda Hornet that may have a name. I did ask actually. I think I think it did have a name and I can't remember it. See, I've put all my cognitive ability into remembering the name Honda Hornet, and now I can't remember if it's got a name beyond Honda Hornet. So that one may or may not have a name. And then you've got Mia's LXR SE. Lovely bike, but she hasn't named it, and I don't think she's going to. And then you've got Rafiki here. So out of those 5 bikes, 2, maybe 3 of them had a name, and 2 or 3 of them didn't. And the other thing that's made me think about naming motorbikes recently is the fact that I get so attached to mine. For those of my eagle-eyed viewers, you will have noticed that I've finally gotten myself a quad lock mount. Right, let's just try this road, because they've been working on this road for months, and you get 90% of the way down this road only to then discover that it's closed and you have to come back. But I haven't used the road since July, and now it's November, so maybe they've finished fixing it. Yes, the quad lock mount. I had to decide, do I buy one, and which bike do I fit it to, or do I swap it from bike to bike when I need it, or do I buy 2, in which case it's twice the price almost. I'd only have to buy 1 phone case, but yeah, do I buy 1 or do I buy 2? And it made me think about, well, what happens if I get another bike? Because it's been a while since I bought a vehicle. Admittedly, it's been 2.5 years since I bought a vehicle, and the pain of the 306 may have put me off buying more vehicles. But I'm always looking at another bike. I'm looking at a street triple at the moment. Very nice, ticks lots of my boxes, but is definitely overpriced. So I probably won't get that one, but I do think I'll get something. Either that, or I'll go get another sports bike. I'll go get myself an R6. And then what do I do when I want a quad lock or something like that? Do I buy 3? Do I sell Laren? Probably won't sell Laren, to be fair. But that's what made me think again about why do I get attached to my vehicles? Because they say that when you name something, you start getting attached to it. And I am very attached to my 125, and I'm very attached to my Daytona, and it makes it difficult then to sell them. My instructor a couple of years back told me that she had 11 bikes. I get it, I completely get it, I completely understand. But what do you do when you want to buy something like heated grips or a quad lock? You know, the struggle is real. Let me just pull over here, because when I fitted this quad lock, I had to make a decision. Right, where's this car going? Because I'm trying to go over here, and so's he. I think we were both going to the same place then. Yes, he's just kind of stolen my parking space. Tell you what, let's just go and park up here. This'll do. We don't need the mud. When it came to fitting this mount, I had to make a decision as to where to fit it. And I've noticed that a lot of people that have quad locks, they use their phone in portrait mode. And I don't know why that is. There may be a reason that I'm not aware of, and maybe when I start using my quad lock, the reason will become apparent. But I wanted to try my phone in landscape mode. Only thing is, because of where I've mounted it, and the tank being as close as it is, I can't actually get the phone on whilst the bars are straight. I've already learned that I have to turn the bars, and then I can get the phone in place. And I think it's in a very good place. I mean, I won't know until I actually properly start using it. Maybe I change it. Maybe I do put it into portrait mode. I don't know. But for now, I'm not saying I'm a freaking genius, but that looks like it's meant to be there. It really does look like it's meant to be there. Just how practical it's going to prove to be, well, only time will tell. But for now, yes, the quad lock can stay where it is. The phone can definitely stay in landscape mode. And I will continue to name my motorbikes.